Patrick Mouratoglou, behind-the-scenes people are interested, and I think it's good. Coco Gauff reacted strongly after she was filmed breaking her racket after being eliminated from the Australian Open. In the quarterfinals, the third seed experienced a convincing defeat by Elina Svitolina with a score of 6-1, 6-2, in a match that lasted only 59 minutes, after which she sought a hidden place outside the court to vent her frustrations. However, the racket smash was caught on camera, prompting the two-time Grand Slam champion to question whether certain moments should be broadcast, as players' privacy at major tournaments is increasingly eroded. Patrick Mouratoglou, a popular coach known for commenting on current events in the tennis world, shared his opinion on Coco Gauff's racket breaking. Mouratoglou firstly referred to a statement by Iga Swiatek, who questioned whether tennis players are animals in a zoo, frustrated by the lack of privacy at tournaments like these. Mouratoglou reacted to the words of the Polish tennis player, saying that sports have changed significantly in recent years, that tennis is now largely influenced by social media, and that fans are interested in situations off the court. The organizers of the tournament often try to present a different image of the event, but this did not meet the enthusiasm of the players. She tried to isolate herself because she didn't want to break a racket in front of the crowd. She wanted to have her moment and be able to break the racket alone, and she has been filmed. So that was a big discussion. I mean, that's part of the game now, you know. Tennis is a show, and because of social media and everything now, there are cameras everywhere. Yes, when they walk in the alley, when they're moving between the court and the fitness room. When they're in the fitness room, people want to know more about how they prepare. Yes, they are interested about that. He said. Patrick Mouratoglou on the people's interest. Patrick Mouratoglou, on the other hand, believes that people's interest in such things is commendable, and that moments like this can certainly spark additional interest in this sport. Patrick understands how real Gauff's frustrations are, but believes that the young tennis player should have known the cameras were there. However, Mouratoglou expects this to be an important lesson for her and not to make too much of a fuss about it. Coco Gauff, unfortunately, ended her story at the Australian Open early, but this will not sway the 21-year-old, who is already shifting her focus to the next challenge. Patrick Mouratoglou, the power behind the spotlight. In professional tennis, the spotlight almost always lands on the player. The racket swings, the roar of the crowd, the trophies held high. These are the images that define success. Yet behind many of the sport's most iconic moments stands a quieter force, the coach. And among modern coaches, few figures spark as much curiosity, debate, and behind-the-scenes fascination as Patrick Mouratoglou. Patrick Mouratoglou is not just a coach who feeds balls and corrects backhands. He is a strategist, a psychologist, a brand builder, and, in many ways, a disruptor of traditional tennis culture. People are interested in what happens behind the scenes with Mouratoglou because he represents something rare, a coach who is visible, vocal, and unafraid to redefine his role. More than a coach. Traditionally, tennis coaches operated in the shadows. They sat quietly in player boxes, spoke in hushed tones during practice, and avoided the limelight. Mouratoglou changed that model. He stepped forward, not to overshadow players, but to expand the conversation around what coaching truly means. His work with Serena Williams brought this into sharp focus. While Serena was already a legend, Mouratoglou helped guide her through one of the most dominant stretches of her career. Behind the scenes, it wasn't just about refining technique. It was about managing pressure, rebuilding confidence, and creating an environment where greatness could continue to grow rather than stagnate. What fascinated fans and insiders alike was not only the results, but the process. Mouratoglou spoke openly about mindset, fear, motivation, and doubt, topics once considered too personal or abstract for public discussion. He pulled back the curtain, and people leaned in. The psychology of performance. One reason behind-the-scenes observers find Mouratoglou compelling is his emphasis on psychology. He understands that at the elite level, everyone hits the ball well. The real battle happens internally. Mouratoglou often describes players as complex systems rather than machines. He talks about emotional balance, self-belief, and the stories athletes tell themselves under pressure. In doing so, he reframes tennis as a human drama rather than a mechanical contest. This perspective resonates beyond the sport. Entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders recognize the same struggles: fear of failure, burnout, self-doubt. Mouratoglou's behind-the-scenes work shows that success is rarely about talent alone. It's about learning how to manage your inner world when the stakes are highest. Creating an ecosystem, not just a champion. Another reason people are drawn to Mouratoglou's world is his vision of development. Through the Mouratoglou Academy, he has built more than a training center. He has created an ecosystem. Behind the scenes, young players are not only taught how to hit forehands, but how to think independently, handle adversity, and understand their own personalities. Mouratoglou encourages experimentation, failure, and self-awareness, concepts that challenge the rigid, authoritarian coaching styles of the past. This approach reflects a broader shift in modern sports culture. Authority is no longer absolute. Collaboration matters. Mouratoglou positions himself not as a dictator, but as a guide, someone who asks questions as often as he gives answers. Visibility and controversy. With visibility comes criticism, and Mouratoglou has never been immune to it. Some argue that he is too present, too outspoken, too involved in the narrative. But this, too, fuels interest. Behind-the-scenes figures who remain silent are easy to ignore. Those who speak invite conversation. Mouratoglou's willingness to explain his philosophy, defend his decisions, and even admit mistakes humanizes him. It also challenges the idea that authority must be distant to be respected. In an era where transparency is increasingly valued, his openness feels both modern and necessary. Why the behind-the-scenes matters. People are interested in Patrick Mouratoglou behind the scenes because his work reflects a deeper truth. Excellence is built quietly, patiently, and intentionally. The trophies are loud, but the process is subtle. By shedding light on that process, Mouratoglou invites fans to appreciate the unseen labor, the late-night conversations, the emotional recalibration after loss, the trust built over time. He reminds us that success is rarely a solo act. In many ways, Mouratoglou represents a shift in how we view leadership. The best leaders are no longer invisible puppeteers. They are present, thoughtful, and engaged. They understand that influence does not diminish the star, it strengthens it. Conclusion. Patrick Mouratoglou stands at the intersection of performance, psychology, and visibility. His behind-the-scenes role captivates people because it challenges old assumptions about coaching and